I want you to close your eyes and imagine this. You're walking down the hair care aisle searching for a shampoo, conditioner, or spray of some sort. And you look at the shelves filled with hundreds of products, and you start to feel overwhelmed. You're unsure of which one to choose.
So you pick one up off the shelf. It could be a recommendation from a friend, one you've seen on TV, or the one you always end up buying. And you walk to the checkout with hopes you made the right decision. But what if it doesn't work for you? What if you didn't make the right decision and you wasted some money in the process? What are you to do now? My name is Jain Cook.
And my name is Ariel Lee, and we are the co-founders of Remane.
And this is exactly what millions of women and men with kinky curly hair experience when caring for our natural hair textures.
Instead of flooding the market with more shampoos, creams, and conditioners, we help consumers navigate through this crowded market and find products that they'll love. We do this through giving them personalized product recommendations paired with all of the tools and techniques they'll need on their hair journey.
We make these recommendations based off of an assessment a user takes when signing up for our platform. We ask them questions about the current state of their hair, their lifestyle and activities, hair goals and preferences, and lastly, any values they hold when purchasing products. Upon completion, we generate a hair profile that displays all of their unique hair variables, a recommended care plan, including steps they need to take to reach their goals, and product recommendations tied to each of these steps that align with their values. So Ariel, what's our backstory for building Remane?
Diagene. I remember when I'd just moved to Austin in 2016, and I was in a new city. I was at a new school, and I had no community. And to top all of that off, I had to care for my own hair when previously I'd had a whole community of women to help me with that. I felt so overwhelmed and disempowered and just frankly, really frustrated with my hair care journey. And at that moment, I vowed to commit to learning more about my hair and self and helping others take more agency over their own self-care rituals.
I can totally resonate with that motivation. Our company was born out of a real need, a need that you and I experienced with our own hair. And we knew our stories, but decided to interview over 200 Black men and women to understand their unique experiences when caring for natural hair. And our findings were painfully familiar. Users would reply, "I'd rather not wear my hair out because it won't grow," or "I wear my hair under wigs until it grows out." All of these individuals express feelings of insecurity, frustration, and confusion due to the overwhelming hair care information and millions of products marketed for natural hair, making it difficult to understand what's uniquely for them and preventing them from creating a consistent care routine. This point of friction is where Remane was born.
That truly can pose a challenge to anyone on their journey. Diagene, what's one of the biggest challenges that we face during our journey?
I remember back when it was just you and I.
Ooh, yeah.
I honestly felt like we would never make it to the point of where we are today. The problem we set out to solve just seemed so big and daunting, and all I could see before us was all the work that needed to be done. I think back then we definitely had this shared feeling of imposter syndrome because we were pitching our business to all of these different audiences and getting these great opportunities. And we felt like we didn't deserve the growth we were experiencing because our product wasn't finished. I think our biggest challenge has definitely been overcoming this mindset and understanding we need to bring others on to share the success as well as share their skill set so we can focus on the bigger things.
I remember when that feeling of imposter syndrome made us think that we needed to learn linear algebra. I'm so happy that we did not learn linear algebra. I think one of the biggest challenges that we've had, like many founders and business owners, was in the beginning of the pandemic, everything changed. We were previously a packaged good, and we had to shift our whole company to being a data-driven service. During the time we were preparing to launch our product and everything looked great, but then our supply chain disappeared. And so we were forced to pivot to a more data-driven model. But I'm so happy that we were flexible and we were able to make that pivot.
Yes, the good old pivot. And let's pivot a little bit with this conversation and shift to what your experience has been like being a woman in entrepreneurship.
Whew. Being a Black female founder in this space truly is an intersectional journey. Not only are there not enough female founders,
There aren't enough Black female founders.
exactly. And whenever I step on a stage or do a competition, there rarely, if ever, do I see many female-led teams, many minority-led teams. And so Diogene and I have truly thirsted for diverse experiences that have mirrored our own to look up to as we go on our journey. And one of the biggest challenges that we've faced is many of times, not only do we have to prove the viability of our product, but we often have to educate a person on why it is that the pain that we're solving for matters and why they should care. We have to shatter their expectation of what a founder looks like, of what a tech company looks like, and really mobilize them and energize them around the mission of what we founded our company on.
Let's look a little bit more on this idea of change. So, how would you say you've witnessed yourself change throughout this process of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so throughout this process of entrepreneurship, I have seen myself change immensely. I'm not necessarily a different person, but a heightened version of who I was before, from being the vice president of my Quidditch team to selling art trinkets at Art Walk. I have always been looking to innovate and shake up spaces. I believe that entrepreneurship has allowed me to put more bass in my voice and believe in myself as I chase my goals and go towards things. And just furthermore, claim the milestones that we set out to reach. So watch out for our $1 billion valuation in a few years.
Yes, watch out. And personally, I feel like I've gained so much self-confidence through the process of building this company. I remember back when I started college, I was this bashful, shy, indecisive introvert, and I never would have thought that I would be the budding entrepreneur that I am today. I've pitched in front of multiple audiences and spoken to executives from Fortune 500s and managed a growing team of bright young women. I can honestly see myself becoming the woman I've always admired growing up, and I'm very proud of myself.
So, only honest answers. What is it like working with me?
I think we both know that in the beginning, we definitely had to work on our relationship as friends and individuals and prioritize that over working well as just business partners. And this meant getting to know each other, getting to understand what the other did to decompress, how they communicated, what their love language was, and just what are the things that they enjoyed doing outside of Remane. I definitely think putting in this upfront capital of enjoying each other as humans has bred a very strong connection and bond between us that reflects the trust that we've built within each other.
Truly, I totally understand that. Entrepreneurship can be so isolating, and I'm so glad to just have you as my business partner to go through all of that with, because many people will not create a business in their lifetime, and oftentimes your business can consume many aspects of your life. So I'm just so grateful to have someone else to go through this experience with.
All right, Ariel. So what's next for Remane?
We have a lot of stuff coming up for us. Currently, we are in 2 boot camps to finish the development of our service. We are set to launch in early January. We are also currently growing our beta testing collective, a group of men and women that we are co-creating and testing our service out with. We are currently in a growth phase, which is always exciting. Our growth has not looked very linear, but rather cyclical. So I'm just really excited to be in this phase.
Yes, this growth spurt has definitely been very wonderful for us. And we're actually going through a second round of recruiting to expand our team so we can have way more hands on deck with content creation and business development opportunities so we can focus on building our beta version of our platform from scratch.
Our ultimate goal with Remane is to eventually make a livable salary from what it is that we're doing and put all of our energy into just moving for this company and the mission of the problem that we're solving for. We hope to be the industry standard, the single source of truth for hair care, and really be an innovator and mover in the beauty tech space.
We're so grateful for all of the opportunities we have gained over this journey and are confidently looking toward the future.
Hi, I'm Evie and this is Amie, and we're the co-founders of Thousand Thread.
I'm currently a junior in the Business Honors Program and also a finance major at UT. We actually both met through the Business Honors Program.
Yeah, so I'm a BHP and MIS major getting a certificate in digital arts and media.
So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up in a family of 6 with my dad in the Air Force and my mom as an elementary school teacher. They're originally from Vietnam, but me and my siblings grew up in Austin.
Funny thing, me and Amie were both raised in Austin and lived only 15 minutes away from each other, but we didn't meet each other until just 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Just a little more about myself. I always thought of myself as a STEM person, but I had these businesses in high school where I'd sell cookies or keychains or shirts, and so I thought McCombs would be perfect for me. And some of my favorite hobbies include baking and sewing my own clothes.
And my parents are originally from Taiwan, and I have one older brother. I was always surrounded by entrepreneurship and fashion since my mom owns her own wedding accessory company. But my main passion was always dance. It wasn't until college that I started experimenting with things like photography and filmmaking and other kinds of digital art. My mom also recently started teaching me how to make my own clothes.
And that's something that we have in common, and we actually have so much in common. So we both love experimenting with fashion, and we both love making our own clothes. And so we realized that we should start a company together since we were surrounded by entrepreneurship activities since the beginning, basically. And that's how Thousand Thread started. Evie, do you want to describe our product?
Yeah, so Thousand Thread is a peer-to-peer location-based clothing rental platform. So in other words, we make it easy to buy and rent clothes from people all around you through an app. For example, if Amie needed an outfit for a birthday party tonight, but she didn't want to go buy something new, she could just go on the app and search for whatever she needed, and results would show all the available items for rent from people around West Campus, and she could just schedule a time to go pick it up immediately.
Yeah, we came up with this idea because of some personal experiences. Freshman year, Evie and I were living in the dorms, and we had so many new events to attend. We were buying new clothes, we were borrowing stuff from friends, and we quickly realized that this was unsustainable.
Yeah, I remember wasting so much money on things I would only wear once.
Yeah, and if we ever let our friends borrow our clothes, we would never see them again.
So clearly there was already a problem with finding outfits, but also on top of that, if you didn't already know, the textile industry is the second largest polluter in the world. And on average, it takes 650 gallons of water just to produce one new cotton t-shirt.
So Evie and I wanted to come up with a better way to express ourselves through fashion without harming the environment or wasting our time and money. So we decided we wanted to impact UT students by giving them an alternative to buying new clothes.
And the UT community was a great place to start because there are so many students already near each other who have these items that they only wear once, especially things like formal dresses and Halloween costumes. So we saw an opportunity where students could make money by renting out their clothes and save money by wearing what the community already had.
It's been 2 years since we've begun, but the journey hasn't always been easy, especially in the beginning. We were looking for a really good front-end developer who believed in the mission of our company and could commit 100%.
Yeah, so what we did is we reached out on Facebook pages and GroupMes and just any family or friends who knew anyone that could help us out.
Eventually, we found a family friend who could help us out, but he was a professional full-time developer, so he didn't really have the time to commit 100% to our project.
Yeah, and another student we were talking to didn't really align with our company values and culture we were trying to build.
Yeah, it was pretty discouraging, and we were about to give up since our app was our core product and we didn't really have the time or the knowledge to code it ourselves. But thankfully, after about a year of searching, we found the perfect 2 developers through an organization called Convergent. Evie, do you want to explain what Convergent is?
Yeah, so Convergent is an organization that connects students with a business idea to students who can help with the technical aspects. So we were connected with a few amazing computer science and electrical engineering students at UT who are willing to dedicate their time and efforts to the overall mission of the company.
So in the end, what we learned from this, it's definitely better to wait for the perfect fit because starting your own company is a huge and personal endeavor. And you definitely need someone who's willing to commit 100% to the team.
Another challenge we faced is being women in entrepreneurship. As women, it's more difficult to explain the need to others who may not face the same problems. Like, Amie, do you remember that one time during the pitch?
Oh my goodness, that one judge just could not see the value in our product for our target market. So this judge interrupted us in the middle of our pitch, and he basically interrogated us on why people would even use our product and why they would want to rent secondhand because he felt there was a stigma around it. It was pretty discouraging and it was really hard to carry on afterwards.
Yeah, it definitely ruined our flow. And even after we finished pitching, all the questions he asked were about things that could go wrong with our company instead of the possibilities.
Yeah, and this is just one of the instances where we face difficulties as women in entrepreneurship. Many studies have shown that women are typically asked prevention questions, which aim to find all the wrong in the company, whereas men are asked promotion questions, which aim to find anything that could go right with the company, like the growth and the trajectory. And this has happened so many times to us. Even during like casual conversations, just telling people about our products, they ask us what can go wrong with it. And it's not at all encouraging.
Yeah, and we've even had to adjust our pitch to appeal to men because most investors are men. But we encourage women to keep on going and even consider careers in investing, to sit in on those decision-making chairs and blaze a path for women entrepreneurs.
Even though we've definitely faced hurdles, we were able to run a minimal viable product through Instagram, which actually gained a lot of traction. And we had, I think, over 50 rentals over the course of a month. And our customers would tell us that our product was so useful because they had a football game or something and didn't have the time or the money to buy new outfits.
Yeah, I had such a great time meeting all our customers in person and seeing their happy faces when they got something to wear. Amie, I think we've really come a long way.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already been 2 years. It seems like yesterday that we met at Kirby Lane, and we actually found out that we had a mutual childhood friend, and we lived really close to each other, and we had a class together at 8 a.m.
Yeah, econ. That class was so early, but it was fun because we got to do it together. And now we're best friends.
We started doing everything together and got really close really fast. My favorite thing to do with Evie is to go out and eat crawfish.
Yes, one time we did this right before our pitch at Texas Shark Tank, and it was not the best idea, and we felt a little queasy afterwards, but the pitch went well at least.
I think that was my favorite pitch I've done with you. But aside from pitching, we work really well together because we have different skills. Typically, I manage the logistics and flesh out the finances, whereas Evie handles a lot of the technical stuff as well as the front-end design.
Yeah, I think it's important to have these differing skill sets because there are so many moving parts in starting a company. And I definitely didn't always have these skills. Starting Thousand Thread has taught me how to take initiative and learn things by myself. When we first started, we were just 2 freshmen with 0 business knowledge and an idea to make impact in the community. Over the past couple of years, I've taught myself skills such as UX design, marketing, and storytelling. I've learned that starting anything is not easy, but we can really do anything we put our minds to. What about you, Amie?
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely learned a ton of skills, but another thing I've also learned is that the entrepreneurship journey is much more familiar now and it's a lot less intimidating. Like before coming to college, I thought starting a real company was something that only Silicon Valley, like college dropouts could do. But after coming to UT with resources like the KENDRAxUTAustin WEL Institute and Genesis and Convergent, all organizations who have helped us in our journey, it's a lot more attainable than I previously thought. So Evie, what's next for Thousand Thread?
So we're currently finishing up our mobile application and we'll be releasing the beta version soon to start testing.
We're waiting to launch because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but when the time is right and we can establish safety measures, we will roll out the app in full swing.
At the end of the day, our mission is that the community can find new ways to express themselves through fashion while saving some money and being environmentally conscious.
Thank you so much for listening, and join the thread.
Do you remember your first day of college? Do you remember who you sat next to?
You never know who you'll meet on your first day of college. You might just end up starting a business with them.
Hi, my name is Ingrid Villarreal, and I'm a student in the College of Natural Sciences in the Health Science Scholars Program, majoring in biology. And I'm a student in the Macomb School of Business, pursuing a business and healthcare certificate. And I'm a pre-medical student.
My name is Becca, and I'm a pre-PA student in the College of Natural Sciences. I'm majoring in nutritional sciences and public health.
We're the co-founders of SweatxServe, along with Isabella Villarreal, who unfortunately could not join us today.
Ingrid and I met in our general chemistry class freshman year and happened to sit next to each other in the very front because we were both anxious to start the semester off right, giving our full attention to the professor. We introduced ourselves and we started to realize that we had so many similar interests.
Becca and I quickly bonded because we had so much in common, especially health, fitness, and our future goals. It was a meant-to-be relationship when we both found out we were certified fitness instructors, Becca Bar and I Yoga Sculpt.
I got my bar certification in high school, and it was definitely an experience that pushed me out of my comfort zone because I was the youngest instructor, and that caused me to feel out of place at times. But it helped me to grow, and it gave me lots of confidence once I got the hang of it. So happening to meet Ingrid on the very first day of college, and she was also a group fitness instructor, helped us to bond super quickly.
Yes, definitely. I completely agree with Becca. Fast forward to this past spring, COVID-19 was fresh off the press, and we saw the terrible effects COVID had on both our community and individuals who were physically separated from their friends and family. That's when I decided to partner with Becca and Isabella to create SweatxServe, an online fitness studio offering donation-based fitness classes taught by certified instructors throughout the nation. 100% of our proceeds benefit the University of Texas at Austin, Dell Medical School's COVID-19 Emergency Response Fund.
All three of us are fitness instructors in our specific class forms. We thought that we could use our unique talent to help with the COVID crisis. Moreover, as pre-health professional students, we wanted to find a way to directly help with the COVID, even if we couldn't physically be together.
Exactly. What is really unique about SweatxServe is that Becca, Isabella, and I were able to combine our passions and become social entrepreneurs, innovating the current ways that individuals can unite and give back to their community. As Becca mentioned previously, we're all pre-healthcare professional students, and we were overwhelmed by the selflessness and the dedication of the frontline healthcare professionals. Our mission with SweatxServe is to virtually connect individuals through mind, body, and spirit, while also giving back to their community. SweatxServe allows individuals to do just that, do something good for themselves and their community at the same time.
Yes, totally, Ingrid. I think that since we are all having to be so isolated, it can be easy to lose your sense of purpose and just feel lonely and unmotivated in general. Personally, exercise has helped me to take time for myself, refocus, and just feel more grounded when I'm going through a hard time or feeling anxious. People are sitting at their desks more than ever now, and we're glued to our devices. We're lacking the vital physical movement that we really need to be healthy, productive, and energized. It's important for mental health to take a break from the screens. Everyone can carve out 30 minutes for themselves, and in return, they'll feel better both mentally and physically, and they'll perform better as well. Ingrid, how do you think that being a woman has affected our journey?
I'd love to talk to you about that. We started SweatxServe in May with the purpose to create a safe and inclusive environment for all individuals, regardless of their gender. However, our audience has mostly been women, and this has actually allowed us to create a tight and supportive community for women to connect with each other while taking our fitness classes. This has been especially important for us as the fitness industry is oftentimes very one-sided towards women and tends to promote unrealistic body expectations. A study from the National Organization for Women found that at age 13, 53% of American girls are unhappy with their bodies, and by 17, it grows to 78%. We want to encourage women to get involved in fitness classes, not because of the physical appearance, but for the mental clarity, the feeling of strength, and the community they can obtain from physical activity.
Yeah, it can definitely be difficult to not compare yourself to others on social media and Instagram, especially when everything is virtual. I know I've struggled with striving to attain this perfect image in my head that was probably just fed to me through scrolling through endless pictures of influencers and models. But our goal is to provide a platform that is both positive and comfortable for anyone to move their body.
Yeah, that was precisely one of our goals with SweatxServe. When I was 10 years old, I was actually diagnosed with scoliosis, and throughout middle school and high school, I had to wear a prescription back brace to prevent my spine from further degradation. I remember feeling self-conscious about my appearance and my condition. Today, the curvature of my spine is still noticeable. However, as I have grown older, I have learned to overcome my insecurities. Now I'm in a unique position to help other people overcome theirs. And I'm doing just that with SweatxServe. In fact, because of this supportive community we have created with SweatxServe, we have been able to partner with multiple high school organizations throughout the nation to provide advice for young women entering college and encouraging them to incorporate fitness into their daily schedules. While we definitely have had amazing opportunities connecting and strengthening our community, we've also encountered difficulties. Becca, do you want to talk a little bit about the difficulties we have faced so far?
Yeah, so we face small obstacles such as the best ways to advertise for our company. All three of us don't have any background in advertising or in graphic design, so it's definitely been a learning curve for us. However, since our marketing is primarily done through social media, we have learned to use editing services and graphics to create content for advertising, and we're still continuing to learn as we grow. In addition to that, managing our time and balancing our rigorous course schedule has definitely been the hardest part for all of us. We're still learning how to divide the weekly tasks that need to be attended to. Ingrid, how do you think that working with us co-founders has been?
SweatxServe has 3 co-founders, Becca, Isabella, and myself. Working with Becca and Isabella has been lots of fun. We have weekly Zoom meetings to discuss our agenda for the week and objectives. We're all very like-minded and driven, and that has actually enabled SweatxServe to continue to be at the forefront of innovation. We're able to easily communicate and jump ideas off each other. Communication is a big part of SweatxServe, as us co-founders have to communicate with our network of instructors around the country. Staying organized is also an important component of our work ethic. It has been amazing to grow our friendship while also creating a current-day Texas nonprofit organization using virtual experiences to better the community. Becca, how do you think founding SweatxServe has made you stronger?
I'm probably most proud of how innovative we have been during this time of uncertainty and fear. We started off with the idea of simply using our teaching talent to teach online classes just to raise money for COVID reliefs. Now we've grown to include a national variety of instructors and audiences to connect them all for this one cause. It has been amazing to see just how connecting these individuals through our fitness classes and just to see the faces of their friends and family members, as this is the first time they've seen each other in so long over our Zoom classes.
We created SweatxServe in the midst of uncertainty. We stayed true to our passions and followed our intuition to create a platform to help our community during this time. Now I am certain that I can accomplish any obstacle or challenge that might come my way. We have been able to turn virtual experiences into a way to strengthen and support our community. We're continuing to innovate and create the best methods for individuals to unite, even in the midst of a pandemic. Becca, do you want to share about what's next for SweatxServe?
We have recently just launched our newest segment of our organization called Savor by SweatxServe. We'll be offering cooking and baking classes with your favorite food influencers and chefs. These classes will be taught just like our Zoom fitness classes, and they'll be 100% proceeds going to the University of Texas Austin Dell Medical School's COVID-19 Emergency Response Fund. These classes are meant to bring the community together just through food while giving back at the same time.
We're also so proud to announce that we have officially become a Texas nonprofit organization. In the future, in a post-COVID world, we plan to integrate our profits to benefit other important social causes that promote social and racial justice, mental health, public health, nutrition, education, and disaster crises. We're thrilled to be able to use our platform to bring awareness to these important issues. We hope that by sharing our story behind SweatxServe, you are inspired to combine your passions to innovate, strengthen, and help your community.
When you're able to combine your passions with community service, it's both rewarding and fun. Make sure to give us a follow on Instagram at SweatxServe and to stay updated on our new baking classes.
We can't wait for you to sweat and serve with us soon.
Over 60% of Americans report feeling lonely. At Big and Mini, we're changing that. Hi, my name is Aditi, and I'm the co-founder of Big and Mini, a startup that seeks to bring seniors, bigs, and young adults, minis, together virtually to share stories, exchange wisdom, and combat social isolation and loneliness. In early April, the world changed. The COVID-19 pandemic completely transformed society and altered the way we build connections and spend time with those we love. I felt helpless sitting at home, unable to physically volunteer, donate, or do anything to help remedy the situation. Meanwhile, I struggled to adjust to the completely virtual format, feeling lost without the accessible guidance and mentorship being on a college campus provided. To be quite frank, I felt a bit lonely. I knew I wasn't alone in this feeling, seeing countless posts and stories from other students and friends detailing similar experiences. Regardless of the difficult situation, I remained optimistic that something could be done. Having volunteered at senior living communities throughout high school, I developed a deeply rooted fondness for the stories and bits of wisdom seniors were ever willing to share. Whether it was hearing about life in West Germany from Mr. Becca or listening to my grandparents' stories about how they founded companies of their own, the cross-generational relationships I made were a constant source of inspiration. When I saw countless news articles coming out about how many older adults were no longer able to see family, friends, or anyone for that matter, I thought about how much those connections had meant to me and how lonely and terrible that situation must have been for them. It was at that moment I knew something had to be done. I always believed that the kindness and advice I had been given from older generations was incredibly valuable to shaping my future and was something that everyone should experience. It was at that moment and those ideas coming together that resulted in the spark that led to the launch of Big and Mini. To put it simply, Big and Mini is a platform that facilitates virtual intergenerational friendships. Initially, interested bigs and minis can go to our website and sign up with just an email or phone number. From there, each person can fill out a short profile with information about their interests and completes a training to make sure that both parties stay safe throughout the process. Finally, the magic happens. Bigs and minis are placed together based on shared interests and diverse perspectives for messaging, video calling, and overall communication. Through a unique platform that allows for one-click access, Big and Mini makes sure that anyone, anywhere who's interested in connecting across generations is able to access it. We've accomplished more than I could have ever imagined, from appearing on the Today Show to facilitating over 800 successful matches. However, the path to get to this point hasn't always been easy. Starting out was especially challenging for me, especially since I didn't have any experience with startup culture. As a bit of background, when we founded Big and Mini, my only goal was to help people find connection during an isolating time. I remember thinking back in April that if I could help maybe a dozen or so people, I would have made a difference, and quite frankly, that was enough to make me happy. Hence, when Big and Mini was launched, the platform was a rough website with a Google Form sign-up. No frills, and quite frankly, just enough to get by. Initially, this worked great, as in the early days when we saw our first big influx of signups, we were able to get them matched and talking right away. However, about 2 weeks later, I found myself completely overwhelmed with the number of matches we were getting. I remember spending hours every day going through emails and trying to make matches. After a few weeks of nonstop emailing, I was pretty much burnt out. It was clear that the lack of pre-planning had caught up to us. Our platform wasn't at the point where we would be able to successfully manage the huge growth. Meanwhile, we had a very limited amount of time to make Big and Mini into a real business before people lost interest. I remember staying up late, researching how to create a business plan and sending out countless messages trying to recruit people to help us with the platform. Initially, my lack of experience served as a barrier for my Big and Mini's growth, forcing us to try and learn and innovate simultaneously while slowing us down. However, after multiple all-nighters, a ton of coffee, and an infinite amount of reading, we managed to convert the platform from a single-page website to a scalable, fully functional website that we have today. Although this process only took us around a week, there were definitely many moments throughout this time where I doubted my ability to make the platform successful. With such a steep learning curve and little time to make the platform successful, to say the least, I was stressed.
There was times where I questioned if all the work was worth it. However, I kept the mission of Big and Mini in mind. That week, we got an email from a Big telling us about how much she loved her first call. Although short, the email had a few powerful words. Those words were, "Those 48 minutes with my Mini flew by. I haven't had that much fun in years. Thank you so much for doing the work you're doing." It was this message that kept me reminded that Big and Mini was actually changing lives. Since then, things have been no different. My desire to help others and use Big and Mini as a force of good has propelled me forward, enabling me to keep going even when things get difficult. In addition to the stories from Bigs and Minis, a large part of the reason I've been able to get to where I am today is due to the women who have supported me along the way. Thinking back, some of my first memories and lessons in life originated from the confines of my grandmother's kitchen. I remember hearing her tell me about her experiences working in her family business as she ground colorful spices and rolled out puris. Her work ethic inspired me to persevere no matter the cost, and her advice to pursue whatever I wanted, regardless of societal expectations, stuck with me after all this time. My mother was the same way. The strongest and most independent woman I know, her drive and ambition to constantly excel at her career and make a name for herself while helping others is what I aspire to be and has really inspired what I choose to pursue. Both my grandmother and my mom's experience are a source of inspiration for Big and Mini's mission and continued goals. If I had learned so much from the simple conversations I had with them, I could only imagine what the wealth of knowledge and others my age would be able to experience from weekly calls with older generations. Regardless, as a woman in entrepreneurship, at times it's been a bit difficult to garner the same respect as my male co-founders. However, being surrounded by powerful women throughout my life, I've been fortunate enough to have the confidence to work my way through obstacles and really make sure that I'm excelling as a minority in entrepreneurship. Beyond the relationships I had with the women in my family, several other relationships have really shaped the direction of Big and Mini. Being college students, most of the people that we know were young and happened to be in college. This obviously made finding older adults to join the platform a bit difficult, especially early on when we didn't have any experience with the aging industry. I remember sending out literally hundreds of emails to every senior living facility and person who worked in the aging space I could find. Initially, we got a ton of non-responses, which, although expected, was a bit disheartening. So when I went back to my inbox, sending even more emails and calling people point blank to try and get on our platform. Eventually, after bugging people more than a couple times, there were a few individuals who decided to take a chance on a new organization and gave us the initial connections we needed to grow. For example, one of the people we reached out to, Dr. Karen Fingerman, connected us with our first Bigs. 5 months later, we're still calling her on a regular basis, and she continues to help us grow Big and Mini. It was these connections that got Big and Mini to the point where we are today. And thinking back, without them, we would have been where we are. So to think that it originated from a few emails is really incredible. Beyond that, one of the coolest things I've learned as part of Big and Mini platform was the beginnings of a network effect. Bigs and Minis are sharing their experience with others, posting on their social medias, or chatting with others in their friend groups about their matches. Not only have these things helped bring more Big and Minis on board, but it's shown us that our mission is really resonating with people, which has been really cool, to say the least. We've even had Bigs and Minis join our team, helping us write our blog, generating new ideas, and writing out our newsletter. Obviously, throughout this experience, I've learned an incredible amount. Beyond just the basics of making a business model or forecasting sales, I've learned so much about what it means to be an entrepreneur. I've learned the joy of seeing your users actually benefiting from your platform is like no other. For example, earlier this month, we got a video message from Claire, a Mini from Michigan, and Joe, a Big from Jordan, talking about their experiences with Big and Mini. They shared that in the 5 months that they've been meeting, they've done everything from cooking recipes together to playing board games virtually to even solving advanced math problems collaboratively. They now consider each other lifelong friends and look upon each other as family. The coolest part of this interaction is that Claire and Joe are over 6,000 miles apart and come from completely different cultures. It's not just them, though. 2 weeks ago, Nicole and Connie, who happened to share similar birthdays, had a joint virtual birthday party over the Big and Mini platform. Daniel and Elva are learning about ancient Roman history together and consider each other the best part of their Saturdays. And there's hundreds of more stories like this. We've managed to make an impact on the lives of so many people. It's the difference that we've made and these connections that we've facilitated that have been the best part of Big and Mini by far, as it shows our work and dedication is actually changing lives. I've learned that the advice and support you receive from others can be truly life-changing. Looking back, some of those cold emails we sent out at the very beginning of Big and Mini has really shaped our journey and resulted in really strong mentor relations that have changed the future of Big and Mini's goals and help us reach hundreds of more people. Had it not been for these initial supporters, we definitely would not have been able to get to where we are today. With that in mind, I've also learned the importance of keeping your mission at heart as you grow. Throughout this process, I've heard countless words of advice that could have potentially strayed us away from the main purpose of our social impact. However, by reminding ourselves of Big and Mini's mission at all times, I've managed to make sure that all the decisions we make and have the Bigs and Minis at heart. This process has allowed me to grow so much as an entrepreneur. I've gone through the challenges associated with creating a startup, learning a seemingly infinite amount of information throughout this process, and come out even stronger. And as Big and Minis grows, I can't wait to continue learning. Obviously, with the help of all the support, we've been able to accomplish more than I could have ever imagined. We've been featured in the Today Show and over 40 other news outlets. We've developed partnerships with the AARP, several universities, and so many others. And more importantly, however, 90% of our Bigs and Minis have reported feeling more connected as a result of our platform. And we've received countless emails and videos on a daily basis detailing the positive experiences that Big and Minis using our platform have experienced. However, there still remains so much to be done. As we've grown, we've realized that the key to our success lies in organizational partnerships. To maximize the amount of people we reach at all time, we've tried to partner with several different organizations who work in the aging space. We've already partnered with over 10 organizations currently and have developed the Big and Mini for Organizations platform to a point where we're about to start some pilots. Throughout this process, we can evaluate our impact and hopefully make a difference in the senior living space. Once we have these seniors on board, we can continue to expand to different networks and hopefully eventually reach thousands of Bigs. Simultaneously, we're developing out a campus ambassador program to hopefully find thousands of Big and Minis who want to join our platform and continue to make a difference. Most importantly, we're working on an initiative to bring technology to Bigs and Minis to those who might come from communities that don't have access to these resources to stay connected. Many of the older adults in these demographics are some of the most socially isolated in the US, and we believe that providing them with technology and the resources to connect, we can make a huge difference in their lives. Simultaneously, by working with young adults who have not had access to traditional mentorship in the past, we hope that we can help them thrive. Someday, we hope to be in every school and senior living facility in America. This is just the beginning for Big and Mini, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Hi, my name is Niti, and I'm a junior here at UT Austin studying Business Honors and Computer Science.
Hi, my name is Rashu, and I'm also a junior studying Business Honors, Finance, and Math.
And we're the co-founders of Stories of Austin, a storytelling platform on Instagram and Facebook to share the journeys of small business owners here in Austin.
Bear with me for a moment. I want you to picture your favorite food truck in Austin. Do you have it? Now, I want you to picture the owners of that food truck. Have you ever wondered what inspires them to come to work every day? How they started? What obstacles they've had to overcome? Well, that's exactly what we wondered. And that's how we started Stories of Austin, so we could share these journeys with y'all.
So our account was actually inspired by Humans of New York. And I think, Rashu, you even emailed Brandon Stanton, the founder, at like 3 a.m. one night.
I did.
Both of us love Humans of New York, and the reason why is because of their ability to make us feel connected to random strangers on the streets of New York, even though we've never even met them before. And that connection is really, really important to us.
And we wanted to take that exact connection and translate it here to our small business community in Austin. And I think one thing that both Niti and I have realized, along with our friends, is that when we feel this emotional connection to the small business owners, we see them as more than a product or service, but we see them as an integral part of our community.
So Stories of Austin actually started back in May when Rashu and I were both really disheartened to see small businesses struggling to stay afloat, especially some of our favorite small businesses on campus were shutting down. And I think one thing that I was always thinking was, are these owners okay? Like, what's their situation like? You know, I just wanted to know more about their background.
And honestly, it's crazy to think about this, but this is really cheesy, but we really just had this itch, right? To help small businesses figure out what we could do to help them. And one day, Niti texted me. She's like, hey, I have an idea. Can I run it by you? So we hopped on a FaceTime call, and it turns out both of us had ideas of ways to help out small businesses. So literally within an hour on a Sunday night in May, Stories of Austin was born.
Yeah, that was just the beginning. Since then, it's been 4 months since we've been running the account, and we've loved every second of it. And I think the best part is that our goals throughout these 4 months have stayed the same. The first is to connect with as many small business owners as possible. And then the second is really to encourage our followers to integrate shopping local into their daily lives.
And although we started actually working on this idea back in May, we didn't actually launch our account until July 7th. And during that time period, we were basically just collecting stories, talking to small business owners, and getting all the stories that we could. But honestly, I think there were so many instances where we thought we'd fail. We thought people wouldn't want to follow our account. We thought small businesses would say no to us. But one thing that really did inspire us to keep going was actually getting overwhelmingly positive feedback from all the small business owners, especially JP.
Oh, JP's story is crazy. So JP from JP's Pancakes was actually one of the first calls that we made during that May to July 2-month prep period. And I think it was supposed to be an hour-long call, and it turned out to be a 3-hour call because he was just so generous with his time and his advice. And he just offered to kind of be a mentor for us and help us, with social media advice, the direction that we should take Stories of Austin, even things like branding and logo. And we were just overwhelmed by his generosity. And I think that really speaks volumes of the entrepreneurship culture here in Austin. And I think one thing that he said, I don't know if you remember, but I always remember, he said, "How big do you think Stories of Austin will get?" And we both were like, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred followers. And he said, "No, you have to picture Stories of Austin with hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, that's the only way you'll be successful." And it was just unbelievable to us how kind and helpful he was.
JP, along with so many other businesses, were really vital to us launching Stories of Austin. And when we actually did launch on July 7th, honestly, it was probably one of the most memorable moments, I think, for both of us, because we got so much positive feedback from our friends, from the UT community, and also people just randomly texting us and saying, "Hey, I'm so excited for Stories of Austin." I think it really just made the whole experience a lot better. And we've learned a lot over the past 4 months. I definitely think we have. But one thing that I would say is the challenge that we faced has been encouraging people to continue to support small businesses beyond just reading the stories on our account. Because oftentimes people are scrolling through Instagram, they read the posts and then they move on. But we want to encourage them to follow the small business journey beyond just reading the story. So it's been a little tough, but we're working on some things. We've been working with some small businesses to start some initiatives. So I don't want to give away too many of the details, but stay on the lookout for a little bit of that later.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what's to come. But I think at the end of the day, we can both agree that, likes and follows are great, but that's not a metric of success for us. I think for us, if we can even inspire one more person to go out and shop local regularly, that would be amazing. And I think we've had a lot of really great unexpected consequences as well. Like, this is totally unplanned, but most of our people that we feature on our account are female founders, and I love that. I mean, we've had such a great time learning from these amazing women about what it means to be a woman in entrepreneurship and just hear about their journeys, and we've just had a really great experience, but I know, unfortunately, they haven't always had positive experiences.
Yeah, one of the experiences, unfortunately, that we hear far too often is that a lot of these female founders often face backlash for their products. People say they don't belong in the industry, they're not qualified to be serving this product or service, and it's really just disheartening for us to see that, because I think they deserve, their products are great and deserve a lot for their products. So one thing that Niti and I have actually done is this has actually shaped our goal for Stories of Austin, and it's really shaped where we want to take it. So now every story that we share is very intentional, and we want to draw light with our platform towards the racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination that these female founders unfortunately face.
Yeah, that's definitely an important mission for us. But I would say at the end of the day, I love being a female founder. I think the flip side to some of these negative consequences is that it's made us much more empathetic, and we've been able to meet a community of amazing female entrepreneurs. And I've honestly just found products that I didn't even know I needed. Like, for example, Reka from Reka Beauty makes natural skincare products, which we both love. And I wouldn't have been introduced to this without meeting her.
Yeah, and Reka is actually a South Asian female founder, which is great for both of us being South Asian females, because growing up, I didn't really have that type of representation in my life, especially within entrepreneurship. And I think everyone deserves having and seeing more female founders in the space, just in terms of being inspired by them. But honestly, I think another thing for Niti and I that we both love is just working together. I mean, I hope she agree with that. But honestly, I think we didn't know each other very well before Stories of Austin. I mean, we had a couple of mutual friends. I think once I even knocked on your apartment to borrow your laundry machine because mine broke. But other than that, I think Stories of Austin is when we really started to get to know each other. And I would definitely say that the beauty of our friendship is that not only do we work well together, but we also build off of each other's creativity.
Yeah, 100%. It's so fun working on Stories of Austin. It doesn't even feel like work ever, because it's both of ours passion project, and we always come to work, with a lot of energy and just really excited to hang out with each other and also work on Stories of Austin.
Yeah, and I mean, if you show up to one of our meetings, highly likely chance that you'll probably have to wait 30 minutes before we actually start talking about Stories of Austin, and we go on a few too many tangents, but that's just what makes working with each other so much fun.
Another thing that we love about working on Stories of Austin is not only working with Rashu, which is amazing, but also interviewing the small businesses. Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters the most to us. And at this point, we've interviewed over 30 small businesses, which is just incredible that we've been able to form these connections. And I think we've also learned so much from them. And one of the most important things that we've learned is that while one-off actions like, a photo op or a hashtag are great for publicity, they really don't do much in the long run to provide consistent revenue to support these small businesses. So we really are focused on trying to get our followers to integrate shopping local into their daily lives, not just once. So this could range from things like the next time you have a profit share, instead of partnering with a chain restaurant, partner with a local restaurant, or something that you buy regularly instead of going to your, commercial department store, go buy it from a small business. I think these are really important lessons that we've learned.
Yeah, definitely. And Niti, although you're actually from Austin, I'm not originally from Austin. So for me, getting to learn about so many small businesses that I would have never met otherwise has honestly just been a really humbling experience. I think I speak for the both of us when I say that I don't think there's a single story or a single detail of any story that we've forgotten over time, because these small business owners really do have an impact on us with everything that they're willing to share with us. And the top example that comes to mind for me is Chef Kayla from Key Desserts. She is an amazing baker here in Austin. She's incredible. You guys should definitely try out her sweets. But I think for her, what really stuck out to me was that not only does she pour her passion into her food, but she really does give back to her community and pours her heart into it. And for me, I think that really has inspired me to continue to support local in my day-to-day life, because I not only want to support Chef Kayla for all the love that she puts in with her great product, but also all the love that she pours into the community. And that's inspired me to continue to shop local and encourage my family and friends to do the same.
Yeah, Stories of Austin has also made me so much more conscious about where I choose to spend my money. Like, for example, my mom's birthday was a few months ago, and instead of, just going to the mall and picking out a pair of earrings, I remembered that Lily from Be Beautiful has amazing earrings, and I picked out a pair, and my mom loved it. So it's really been a great experience. But I think we have a lot to grow. Right now, Chef Kayla is a great example of the UT's community rising up and supporting small businesses, but we'd also love to expand to the greater Austin area and hopefully even like nationally or internationally. I mean, think about how crazy it would be if people in other cities replicated the same model of Stories of Austin to support their local communities. So I think in order to achieve this growth, we're focused on two things. The first is obviously, reaching out to as many small businesses as we can. And the second comes from y'all, our followers. So if I could ask you to pull out your phones right now and go follow Stories of Austin to join us on the journey to support local businesses, you won't regret it.